Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today is one of the first times that I'm actually filming at night, so I'm playing around with the lighting. To be perfectly honest, it looks really good in the camera, so I'm hoping that that's translating really well to you guys. This cord right here, like hopefully it won't be there forever, but for right now I've just put up some like twinkle lights on my wall, which really also add to this room. Fun fact, I think I've kind of mentioned this before, but where my boyfriend and I live, we have 2 bedrooms and it's just the 2 of us, so this extra bedroom has kind of turned into my makeup room, and for the longest time we did not have a light. So this extra room was only usable in the daytime. Otherwise you had to like sprint to the bathroom because there's a bathroom in the room. You can sprint to the bathroom and like turn on the light and then just pray to God there wasn't like a crazy person hiding in the room or hiding in the closet that you just weren't going to see. So yeah, I'm really liking the vibe that this room has now. Over the holiday season, he and I were able to get a couple of decorations. We've got a couple of like canvas prints that have like really cute little sayings on them that we're going to put above the bed. So we're very excited for the room. We've actually got some stuff for our living room, but that actually has nothing to do with this video today. This cord is going to drive me nuts. Okay, so it's out of the frame now. It looks like crap on my side, but alas, at least you guys cannot see it, and at least I cannot see it in the screen. So I wanted to do a video because I know I haven't done one in a hot second. I think really the most realistic schedule for me is going to be 2 videos a week. If I happen to get a 3rd one up, then fantastic, but if not, I'm really not going to fret over it. YouTube is something that I started because this is my passion. Makeup and beauty is my passion, but it's not my job. I mean, in a perfect world, I would get paid and be like a beauty guru that grows by millions of subscribers like overnight. I've listened to some like how to become a YouTube beauty guru videos, and some of them are like, so in my first year I gained 5,000 subscribers, and I'm like, okay, super. Well, I've been doing this for, I think I started in June or July of last year, so like 7 months, and I've got a whopping 32, and I love it. Like, I love my channel size, but the people that grow by like 5,000, I'm like, A, I don't know how you did it, but B, I cannot imagine the amount of time that you had to dedicate to it. YouTube is something that I love, and I'm happy to have this platform just to kind of do my own thing and maybe teach some people some snazzy tricks along the way, maybe make some people laugh, maybe make some people smile, but it's not my everyday job. I love my everyday job, and it's not YouTube, although I love YouTube. I think I'm going in circles a little bit, but my primary point is, I know I said 3 videos, like maybe 6 or 7 videos ago, that was what I was going to try and shoot for, and that maybe I'd reevaluate on the new year. New Year's here, probably going to be 2 videos a week. So now that we've got a almost 4-minute long introduction, let's jump into the real reason that I'm doing this video. So I promised you guys, I've said it several times in previous videos, that I would be doing like a health video and my health journey, my story, and I think I'm ready to do that now. I think for the longest time I was really scared about your guys' reactions, me saying the things that I have to say, but I think I've really come to terms with the fact that everything I'm about to tell you is going to be 100% true. It's going to be information that I'm not 100% sure I want out with the general public, but I found that people that were raw and honest throughout my journey were the easiest people to relate to. So that's what I'm, gonna do here. So this is probably going to get somewhat emotional at times. That's not the goal of the video, but when you're talking about something as serious as weight loss and a life-changing amount of weight loss and really changing a lifestyle, that's not something that comes without emotion, to be perfectly honest. So I'm very excited to be real with you guys, to tell you guys my story, maybe to inspire a couple of you. I know that 2019 means like new resolutions, and we're just gonna start there. So I have always been a heavier person. I remember growing up, I was always taller than everybody, so I'm 6'1" now, so you can only imagine, you know, how much taller I was than everybody growing up. I pretty much stopped growing in, I think, either freshman or sophomore year of high school. So I was pretty much always towering over people in school. So I stood out. You know, I naturally was going to stand out for being that tall. And then to pair with that, the fact that I was always heavier, it just made me a super easy target. I was the Jolly Green Giant, which I refer to myself as that now because I think it's funny, but I legitimately was like super, super tall, especially compared to my classmates. What else? I was just big, you know? I was just a bigger girl. And a lot of that, in my opinion, is legitimately, it can be attributed to the fact that I had awful eating habits growing up. God-awful eating habits. I love my mom to death. It was just her and I pretty much growing up, and my siblings are both smaller than me. My brother and sister are both very skinny, and they've always been very skinny, and so I was even an easy target growing up because I didn't relate to them, you know? I could not relate to them, and even worse than that, they couldn't relate to me. So to them, it was just, why are you not skinny? You're overeating. And it like was a problem for them to fix. And I don't know, it wasn't something that they ever truly quite understood. So that made it really difficult. And my mom and I, since my siblings lived with my dad, and it was just really me and my mom didn't have, she didn't bestow the best eating habits on me. So I remember eating brownies for breakfast. I remember, like, homemade brownies, not Little Debbie's. Those things weren't big enough. I'm talking like quarter pan brownies that are super unhealthy. I remember every night before bed, late night snacks. So before bed we'd have like a bedtime snack. And I just remember not having any sort of accountability or anybody like really reining me in as far as what I should be eating. Another thing that I vividly remember is growing up when I had been visiting my dad. We went out to eat with the whole family, and I remember ordering a chicken Caesar salad at a restaurant, and then ordering a side of waffle fries with it. Like, I didn't have any sort of knowledge, and I wasn't being raised to have that knowledge, you know, and I wasn't, I don't blame, by no means do I blame my mom. This is not my mom's fault, the fact that I'm bigger. I just know that the habits that we had growing up weren't very healthy. You know, end of the day, eating brownies for breakfast and having a bedtime snack every single night, that's not healthy for anybody. So as I'm growing up, I realize that I'm bigger than everybody, and I have an issue with that, but I don't have a solution for that. So it wasn't really properly conveyed to me that I should be really monitoring what I'm eating in order to fix this problem. So my thought was always, well, I need to be exercising and working out. My mom and I, living in a house together, we did go ride our bikes pretty often during the summer, and we were, I don't want to say we were like really active. The thing is with that, even I remember this, we used to go to Dairy Queen afterwards. We'd ride our bikes for maybe a couple miles, and then we would go home and go to Dairy Queen and either get a Blizzard, or our thing growing up was a vanilla cone, a large vanilla cone. And, you know, that's super counterproductive. So, I just know that, it wasn't great growing up, and I didn't know how to fix it. And being around all my siblings that were much smaller, it wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy. And I remember one time when my sister, who's 9 years older than me, she had a job, and she said, if you work out, because we had a gazelle in our basement where I lived, so she was on the phone with me, and I remember her saying, if you work out every day this month, I will come up to Ohio and I will take you and all your friends out for, I believe it was dinner and a movie. And I remember being so excited and so pumped. And we had a scale in the basement too, so I remember what my starting weight was. Like, I don't remember the number, but I remember having a starting weight. Like, I remember weighing myself. I remember working out for an entire week for, I want to say it was either 30 or 45 minutes on the Gazelle. And then I remember weighing myself again and being 10 pounds lighter. And I remember just thinking, what? Like, how is that possible? But I was so excited, but I think because of that, I was just like, oh, well, this is easy, and I stopped. So I actually didn't get the prize because I didn't do it. I don't know if I stopped like right after that week mark, but I know I didn't make it to the 1 month mark. So there were a lot of things growing up that, you know, I felt were against me, but at the end of the day, it always came back to just me. I didn't really have a good idea of what portions should look like, and I really didn't stop when my body was full, or like when my body wasn't hungry anymore. I stopped when I was like full, like way too full. And I remember growing up, my dad always used to say, don't eat until you're full and you feel almost gross because of it. Eat until you're not hungry anymore. And I just remember thinking, like, what does that even mean? Like, eat until you're not hungry? How the frickety frick nuggets am I gonna know when I'm not hungry anymore? Like, I'm gonna know when I'm full. And so I remember for the longest time, that was like such a difficult concept for me to grasp. Even to this day, I sometimes have to like bring myself back to the don't eat until you're full, eat until you're not hungry anymore. And sometimes, you know, that can mean just waiting, you know, eating a decent amount of food and then being like, I think that's enough for me. I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes. If I still feel hungry, I'm gonna eat more. So, you know, all of that to say, I was a big kid. I was a big girl. And I remember having really big self-confidence issues because of it. I still have really big self-confidence issues. One of the things that I have learned is it doesn't matter what size you are. I could be my goal weight right now and my goal size, and I would still find an issue. So that's like definitely something I've learned throughout this process. But regardless, I had self-confidence issues. I ended up getting my first boyfriend in my junior year of high school, and he was a football player, and we just ate like all the time, and he was a football player, so he ate so much, and I just remember thinking like, I can keep up with him. Spoilers, I couldn't, but I tried, and that was bad. So I left high school pretty heavy. I might insert a photo or a couple photos throughout this video, just for reference. You can see my weight a lot in my face. So I tend to slim out in my face. I don't want to say first, but that's definitely an area that you can really see it. So I remember going into college, and you know, I was heavy. There's no, I don't know what my weight was. I have MyFitnessPal, and I wonder if I can pull it up actually. Okay, so MyFitnessPal, the first time that I ever got MyFitnessPal was in 2011, and that would have been 8 years ago now, which would have been 3 years before graduating, so freshman year of high school, and I weighed in at 250 pounds. Then the year I graduated, so November of 2014, so it would have been after starting college, it would have been the tail end of first semester of college for me. I was at 224. So for reference, I am 6'1". I might have mentioned that already, I can't remember. I'm 6'1". The normal BMI for someone my height and a female of my age is 190 pounds. I have not been 190 pounds since I was in 5th grade, and to some extent, obviously that's because I'm bigger. To some extent, I just, you know, people are built differently. BMI is really not the most accurate system or, you know, way of tracking things for everybody. It doesn't fit everybody's body types, and to be honest, I don't know what my measurements are, so I don't even know how I fit into that BMI classification, but I do know that 190 pounds is like, the doctors would think I was amazing and doing great, and I'd be super healthy and all would be right with the world. But these are just some of the weights. I actually, when I got to college, I was super nervous about gaining weight, and I went through a really bad breakup with the boyfriend that I got in high school. However, I ended up joining ROTC in my second semester of college, and I really slimmed out then. The lowest weight that I have logged would have been when I was in ROTC, and it's 219.9 pounds. That would have been the lowest that I had ever been at that point. At that point, so this is 2015, probably for the last 3 years, that would have been the lowest that I'd ever been. I was very excited to be in the 2 teens. Unfortunately, in ROTC, you have to be much lower for my height and for my gender, or they'll tape test you, which is them measuring your neck. It's a pretty effed up system, to be perfectly honest with you. This was Army ROTC, and it really messed with my confidence a little bit, but it was like fantastic for my health. It was great camaraderie. Like, I loved ROTC, hands down one of the best experiences of college. I had a medical issue, otherwise I would have continued. But regardless, I did ROTC, and I got healthier, and all was going good. And then in the first semester of my sophomore year, I worked out twice in one day, the very first day of school, and something pretty crazy happened on my way back from the gym on my second workout. My heart rate just like boom, 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 boom. I didn't know what was going on. I was really, really freaked out. I had to call my dad, and he like calmed me down because I was like, is this a heart attack? Like, I don't know. And then I got back to campus because the gym that I had gone to was like probably 15 minutes away from campus, and I got back to campus and threw up 3 times in the campus parking lot. And this ties into what actually ended up happening 3 months later. So 3 months later, I'm at an ROTC lab, and my heart rate out of nowhere starts to race. And the lab that we were doing was not physical, so it was instructional. And my heart just starts pounding, and I'm like, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. And an MS4, who was a senior nursing major at the time, says, you'll get over it, it'll calm down, you just need to calm down. And I won't ever forget that, because he never took me seriously as a person, and he thought I was essentially like just making a big deal out of something that wasn't a big deal. And my heart rate got up to 250 beats per minute, didn't stop for an hour, could not be lowered by any medicine that was being injected to me by paramedics who were called. I was rushed to the emergency room. Fortunately, they did get it to stop, but that is when I determined that I have supraventricular tachycardia, SVT for short, and essentially my heartbeat can sometimes skip a beat. That happens sometimes. There are different like triggers to it. For me, the triggers were I hadn't been working out consistently, and then I would go to ROTC and have really intense, heavy workouts, and that was a lot for my heart to be handling. So it had happened. It had been an episode on the first day of school when I threw up in the parking lot, but I didn't know it at the time because I was able to calm myself out of it. But the second episode was much more intense, and I had to stay overnight in the hospital, and it was a lot crazier. But what that led to was me being told, you can't work out right now, and it is something that actually kicks you out of ROTC, so you can't do that anymore either. And that was a huge blow for me, and I was dating another guy at this point, and he didn't have a point of reference, but he also didn't have empathy for what I was going through. I didn't expect sympathy because he didn't have that point of reference, but at least I wanted him to empathize with how much of a struggle it was for me, because I was at the lowest weight that I had ever been in recent memory. You know, in the last couple of years, I was healthy, I was happy, and suddenly something that I was really happy with was taken away from me, and it was completely out of my control. So I couldn't work out for several months. I ended up gaining quite a bit of weight because of it, because I felt, well, if I can't work out, I'm just gonna eat and say, F it, who cares, whatever. So that relationship ended like, I don't even know, like 9 months later. So we weren't together. We were together for just under a year. And then you fast forward, I was single, I was, doing well, working out was a priority for me when I was single, and then you fast forward to my senior year, and I was working full-time while going to school full-time. So because of that, I was eating garbage, and I was not eating at consistent times of the day. So I would sometimes have breakfast, sometimes I wouldn't. I would be traveling all over the place because Xander and I, my boyfriend currently, he and I were sharing one car, so I would be dropping him off at work and then going to my work, and then we would, honest to goodness, what our days look like, we would wake up at 6 o'clock. I had to get him to work by 7:30 so that I could be at work by 8. I'd work till 5. I would typically go out to eat for lunch, like grab fast food. I'd work till 5, had to go get him by 5:30 just so we could be back on campus by 6, have class from 6 to 9, eat dinner after 9 o'clock, work on homework, go to bed around midnight or 1 o'clock, and then do it all over again. So our senior year was, pretty ridiculous, to be honest. It was an incredibly rewarding experience, and I wouldn't change it even if I could, but it's not something that everybody would be able to do, just because it didn't allow for any sort of downtime. It didn't allow for any sort of failure, no sickness. It was really, really difficult, but it's one of those things where it's like he and I got through that. It was really straining on us as individuals. It didn't have too much of an impact on us in a relationship, but it definitely strained us as individuals. And so if we can get through something like that, we can get through anything. But you fast forward to me graduating after having done that for essentially 2 semesters, and I'm big. I'm the biggest I've ever been, hands down. And I joke about the freshman 15 having been the senior 40. So I ended up losing weight. That's why I call it. I ended up losing weight my freshman year, and then I gained it, everything that I had lost, and then some my senior year. And then we moved out, we got our place, we were still eating kind of like garbage, and then in June of 2018, on Friday, June 22nd, I went to the doctor's office because I had something that I needed them to look at. It was like a skin thing, but then while I was there, it was just my general doctor. While I was there, I asked them about my weight. Now, this wasn't my actual general doctor because this was an emergency appointment, so this was a doctor that I wasn't familiar with, and he didn't know me, really. He was just filling in, and so I asked him, what can I do about my weight? Like, where should I be at? Obviously, I'm not where I should be, and, I made jokes out of it because when you're bigger, you make jokes about yourself to prevent people from doing it for you. So that's like a huge coping mechanism type thing. You make jokes, you make fun of yourself. So he basically said, there are pills that you can take that'll help. And I just remember, like, looking at him and, like, tearing up, because for a medical person to sit there and to tell you, you're not going to be able to lose it by yourself. You're going to need something else. That was so difficult for me to hear, because I can lose it I don't need pills. I don't need medical intervention. I can do that. It was just a huge hit, and I'm not, bashing anybody that does need medical, seeks medical help, does need pills. I'm not bashing anybody, but I, as an individual, took it so personally, because in my eyes, he was saying I wasn't strong enough to do it on my own. So that was step 1. I needed to go to the doctor, get on the scale of truth, is what I call it, because the doctor scale, it tells no lies. And I needed to see that number. I needed to have my jaw hit the floor, and I needed the doctor to be that much of a dick to me to say, all right, I need to change. So on Friday, June 22nd, I weighed in at 270 pounds. That's the heaviest that I'd ever been. It was terrifying to me that I was closer to 300 pounds than I was to 200 pounds. That was just boggling to me. Over the weekend, I was just like, I'm not eating as much. I'm going to start eating healthier, and we're going to see what happens. On that Monday, I weighed in at 262. For the first several months, it was pretty much all eating. I didn't work out very much. I'd occasionally ride. We have a stationary bike here. I would occasionally ride that, but it wasn't consistently. It wasn't like I was working out 3 or 4 days a week, every week. It was when I want to work out, when I've got some free time, I will work out. But I kid you not, for the first 3 or 4 months, it was legitimately just watching what I was eating and making sure my portions were correct, counting my calories. I was trying to stay, for the first month or two, I was trying to stay underneath 1,200 calories. After that, I adjusted to 15 because it just became so difficult and it really took a toll on me mentally. So starting July, on July 2nd, I was 259 pounds. So at that point, I had lost 11 pounds. August 1st, I was 250 pounds. So we're 20 pounds down at that point. Let's see, August, so September 1st, I was, August 31st, I was 240.2 pounds, so I had lost 9.8 pounds from the 1st of August. My goal each month was to lose 5 pounds. That was incredibly realistic. 2 pounds a week is like average and normal and healthy. As you can see, the weight was just like falling off me. So this was not me starving myself. This was me eating healthier and my body reacting. So that was the beginning of August. September, by the end of September, October 1st, I was 233.4 pounds. So let's see, what type of difference is that? What was I, August? So essentially 7 pounds. And then in October is when I did the Title Boxing Club challenge where the 2 owners of Title were getting married, and so they created a challenge. If you went through the 1st through the 26th, it was a challenge of whoever would scan in the most and go to the most classes, and whoever lost the most weight. So I weighed in, didn't end up losing the most weight, but I went to Title every single day in the month of October. Gotta tell you, that felt amazing. I would say about mid-August is when I started more seriously going to Title, but in October I really kick-started going to Title, and I seriously, like, I felt superb after that month. So from August 1st at 233.4 to let's just go November 1st to 225.6, I was down another essentially 8 pounds. And then my next goal was by Thanksgiving, I want to be at 220. And I was really nervous about this because I wasn't really sure it was possible. But let's see, Wednesday, November 21st, I was at 217.8. So not only did I hit my goal, but I went lower than my goal. Then in, let's see here, December... Yes, okay, so I wasn't able to do Christmas with my family like on Christmas Day, so I decided that the weekend that I was going to see my family, which was Friday, December 28th, by that day I wanted to be at 210. So on Friday, December 28th, I hit 210 exactly. Since then, it's been a little bit up and down. The holidays were hard. I wasn't gaining an astronomical amount of weight. I was really just ranging anywhere from 211 to 210, maybe a little bit higher than 211, but like I wasn't like at 215, 220, like I wasn't raising that much. It was just like it would fluctuate a pound. Today I weighed in at my lowest weight yet of 209.2. My goal right now is 205. I don't think I'll be seeing that by the end of the month. I would love to see that by Valentine's Day. That's more of like a personal goal, but we'll see where we are. I like to make my goals realistic and then adjust as needed. So I think it's possible for me to hit 205 by Valentine's Day for sure. Here's what I did. MyFitnessPal is hands down the absolute best app that I have ever had in my entire life. If you are struggling, counting your calories really holds you accountable. So if you really think like, you know, I'm just eating a salad from Wendy's, like it's not that many calories, but then you look it up and it's 600 calories, and based on your body weight, which you input everything at the beginning when you first get the app, based on your body weight, you're supposed to be eating 1,500 calories a day. 600 calories is over a third of your calories in one meal. It's just, it'll really put things into perspective for you, and that was super, super helpful for me. They have this fantastic feature where you can scan the foods, like the barcodes of the foods that you eat, and it automatically inputs, so you don't have to like try and search and hope that you find a food that's comparable. Like, it'll do that. Okay, so my camera stopped recording because I had been recording for 30 minutes, so here we are again. So the barcode is a fantastic feature to MyFitnessPal. I definitely 100% want to tell you that it is 80% diet, 20% working out. Okay, yes, I said that right. If you think that if you just go to the gym and work off everything that you put in your body that day, that is, it could be effective for you. But if you're putting junk consistently into your body, then that's not gonna cut it. Like, that's not what your body needs. It's not what your body can process easily. You really, really, really need to make sure that you're eating healthier. And when I say healthier, I don't mean like you're eating lettuce all day long. Like, for breakfast, an everyday breakfast for me is 1 egg mixed with 6 tablespoons of egg whites, because 1 egg is like 70 calories and the egg whites are, 1 serving is 3 tablespoons, 6 of them, so that's 50 calories for 2 servings. And you get a lot of protein. I put cheese on top of them, and I typically have a little individual yogurt. It's higher in carbs, the yogurt is, but if you have that earlier in the day, it's not as bad for you. My lunches vary. I try and make lunch, if I'm going to have a big meal, I try and make it the biggest meal of the day because it has longer to process in my body, but if that's not the case, then that's not the case. Dinner, it varies. Sometimes I'll make chili, sometimes I'll make soups, sometimes I will legit have salads, but honest to God, the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away is that you just need to put in your body things that you can really work with. I guess in the sense that you need to be eating foods that are realistic for you to be eating. So I see all of these videos of people meal prepping things, and it's I would never meal prep that because I don't have half the ingredients, I don't have half that time, and it's not practical for me. So you really need to develop a plan that's going to be practical for you, otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure. Another thing is, this is not a diet. It's not a 2019 New Year, New Me resolution. This is a lifestyle choice. So it took me weighing in on the scale of truth at 270 pounds in order to see the faults there and to make a lifestyle change. They say if you can stick with something for over 6 months, then you've made it a part of your lifestyle. At this point, I'm rocking in at 7 months. So hopefully it's a part of my lifestyle now. But it's not something where you can be well, for this month I'm going to eat super healthy, and then next month I'm going to go back to eating garbage because I'll have eaten healthy for the month of January. That's not how it works, and if you think that that's going to be how it works, you might as well not even try, because you're going to be wasting your time. So you have to genuinely be committed, and it's not something that anybody else is going to be able to do for you. You have to sit down and be I'm not okay with the way that things are right now, and I am going to make it change, not for anybody else, but for myself. Whether it's for your health, whether it's for your happiness, whether it's for what you think and you look damn good in the mirror. If you just can't, I got to the point, and I still struggle with it, that looking in the mirror disgusted myself. I'm what am I doing? And that was motivation for me. It wasn't, my boyfriend, who always thought I looked beautiful, who told me I looked beautiful, who never had an issue with me at 270 pounds, and he doesn't have an issue with me now at 209. But he loved me for who I am, and I needed to love me. And I kept thinking, well, if I had that validation from him, I don't need it from myself. But you do. You need it from yourself first. And I wasn't even listening to him. He could have told me I was beautiful until I was blue in the face, or until he was blue in the face, and it wouldn't have mattered because I didn't believe it. So it's really innate. It has to come from yourself, from within, and you've got to do it for the right reasons, or you won't do it at all. It won't stick. So that's a huge, huge thing. Another thing is, you're going to have days where you want pizza. Eat the pizza. Eat the pizza. I repeat, eat the pizza. Eat the pizza. So Xander and I go out for pizza typically at least once a week. Sometimes more than that. The weekends are the hardest days to eat healthy, and that's totally fine. I try and stay on track throughout the week, and I'm pretty good with it. But the weekends, we go out to eat pizza. We drink sometimes. We are with family, so we're not eating as healthy. Sometimes I'll make cookies because I love to bake, and I'll have 1 or 2. You're not going to eat healthy all the time. So if you completely discredit all of the work that you have put in for the cookie or the piece of pizza that you're having, you're also setting yourself up for failure. You do not need to be a robot as far as the food that you're taking in, because it'll kill you. It'll ruin you. And seriously, there were times, and Xander has been a huge help for me with this, but there were times at night that I would just cry because I was so sad, I was distraught, because I was upset that I wasn't eating what I wanted to be eating, and that's not the way to do this. You have to have balance. So that is something I would encourage. Another big thing that did help me was how supportive Xander was. Now, Xander, has his goals of his own, but he really wasn't doing the things that I was doing while I was doing them. So I would go to Tidal, I would be eating healthier, and he'd still be eating the other things. And in some ways, it was hard to see that, but at the end of the day, it's like, you do you, whatever you want to do. Because I knew I was doing it for myself, I didn't need him to be doing what I was doing because, well, you're teasing because you're eating such and such. Like, that's not how it worked for us. But what was super helpful about him is that he was so incredibly supportive throughout the entire time I was going through all of this, especially initially because there were a lot of hardships and setbacks. As time has progressed and I've gotten closer and closer to my goal weight, it's gotten easier for me because I know the end is in sight, and at that point maintaining is a lot easier than losing. But there were a lot of nights where I would just cry. There were moments that I just felt like I wasn't strong enough. There were times that I would eat, an M&M and be like, I'm gonna gain it all back. And he was hugely instrumental for my success. So if you do not have someone that's positive in your life that's going to support you, not doing what you're doing, not going to the gym with you every single day, that's not what I'm talking about, but is going to mentally and emotionally support you, that could make it harder. If you're single and you can do it by yourself, that might be easier, but if you have someone that isn't supportive, maybe they're not detrimental to everything, but they're just not supporting you, that very well might make things harder, so just be aware of that. I think those are really my biggest tips. Find recipes that work for you and just stay positive. Just know that if you've lost 10 pounds, eating one thing isn't going to make those 10 pounds go back. Even if you have a weekend of eating, it's not going to break the scale. That is another thing too, actually. You need to get on a scale. For the longest time, I was afraid of the scale. I get on the scale every single day. Would I recommend that? Probably not. Weight is a trend. It's not every single day because it fluctuates. So weigh yourself weekly. Weigh yourself every Monday, every Friday, and hold yourself accountable to those numbers on the scale. So recognize that if you weigh 150 pounds on Monday and the following Monday you weigh 154, what happened in that week that made you gain 4 pounds? Maybe reevaluate your diet, maybe pick out, moments that could have been different and change those for the next week. Or, if you're even at 254, don't beat yourself up about it, Don't let that destroy your week. Let that motivate your goals. I could go on and on talking about weight loss. Tidal has been pretty instrumental for me. I actually auditioned to be a trainer. I didn't get the position to be a trainer. I didn't get the position to be a trainer, but I auditioned. So that was a really, really big thing for me. You're putting yourself out there in ways that you don't really know until you're out there trying to be a trainer. Just stay positive. Just stay positive. If you're on the health journey, just be happy, smile, recognize that you're on a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I have not done things always the right way. I don't even know if I've done things the best way, but I've done them, and I've done them for myself, and I can honestly say that I've lost 61 pounds because I was dedicated, I was motivated, and I was doing this for myself, and I am a happier person because of it. So yeah. The newest thing that I'm actually trying, just so you guys are aware, is intermittent fasting. So I have chosen to do the 16-8. So I'm eating for 8 hours of the day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the remaining 16 hours I'm doing nothing but drinking water. You can drink water, coffee, and tea because those are essentially no calories when you're fasting. But you are meant to get the entirety of your daily calories in a smaller window. It has significant health benefits to it. If you guys are interested in reading them, I'll put a couple links below to some sites that have just some snazzy information about it. I actually was interested in it because Joe Rogan, who is a podcaster, he used to be the host on Fear Factor. He has a fantastic podcast that's called the Joe Rogan Experience. I listen to that very frequently, pretty much every time he posts a podcast, and that is something that he swears by. So I figured I'd go ahead and give it a shot because these last few pounds that I'm trying to lose have been coming off a little bit slower, so I just kind of wanted to change things up a bit. This week alone I've lost 2.4 pounds from that so far, and it's hard. It's definitely hard, but it's all mental. So if you can get past that mental block, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. So that's what I'm trying right now. I'm definitely going to be updating you guys in the future with how that goes for me. But I just really wanted to get this video out there for you guys, and I want you guys to know I want to talk to you. Like, talk to me about your health resolutions, talk to me about your goals, talk to me about your setbacks if you've already been working on stuff, talk to me about anything that you want that's health related. I'm not a trainer. I will never, be a nutritionist, a coach, or anything like that, but I would love to help people. If there's something about what I've been through that could help you, I would love to help you. I would absolutely love to help you. So let me. If you have questions, ask them below. If you want to email me, you're more than welcome to. If you want things to be more private, it's ruthieru322@gmail.com. Just be happy. Be positive. Enter 2019 with open eyes, and just be happy with yourself, because you're beautiful no matter what you look like. And be healthy. Definitely be healthy about the way that you approach things. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey. I'm 100% sure that there are things that I could have included in this video that I didn't. It's already going to be probably close to 35 minutes long, so for that I apologize. If you've made it this far, congratulations. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button before you leave. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that below, please post them. Let's make it a conversation. Seriously, guys. But yeah, I will see you guys later.